Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the When Calls the Heart Aftershow here on JLJ Media. I'm James Law Jr. That's a long title, but I gotta say it so you know who I am. Well, yeah, you know who I am, but people who don't know me know who I am, or something like that. Hi, everybody. Hello, welcome. I'm glad to be back on track again. It's Tuesday night, so I'm back on track. Supposed to be Monday, but Monday, Tuesdays, when like these come out. Not forgetting to put an episode out this time. But thanks for listening and watching the show. It's a big hit for our network. And like I said, we're doing it for a long time. And we appreciate each and every one of you, every single hearty that comes through. Love all the comments. Please continue commenting. I'm trying to respond to the comments if I can. I might be a little late, but I may come back to some. I see them, but I do see them. So thank you for that. Just a little side note, next Saturday, because it is Super Bowl Sunday. So they're very, very wise to have a special When Calls the Heart on Saturday. So if you didn't know that, if anybody does know that, now you know it. It's next Saturday. And we have Melissa Gilbert, wow, coming on. And it looks like Bill's getting a little bit of a story. Because I was say, I'm waiting. I know we're at the halfway point of the season. I want the Canfields to have a story. I want Faith to have a story. I know it's a large town now and a large cast, and I just hope they will give some people we like some story. But looks like Bill's getting a little bit of his next week, and it's just so ironic because she's been in the news a lot recently because of if they do a remake or a reboot of what you call it, Little House on the Prairie. But it's so funny. This is Michael Landon Jr. show, and she's on this. So now she's worked with both father and son on shows, on hit shows. Love it. This episode, hilarious and heartwarming. That's the two things I was saying. We're talking about episode 5, season 12. And there were times I laughed. I literally LOL'd all over myself. I LOL'd everywhere, and I loved it. And we laughed. Guffawed out loud. I was like, oh my goodness. And then there were times where it was very sweet. And again, there's movement. So I'm liking that every episode, no matter what the tone is, movement is happening. You like that. And I'll get into all of that. To me, the crowning jewel of this whole episode was the comedy stylings of Bill and Rosemary. Oh my goodness. I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. Hilarious. My girl Pascal always does it, and Jack Wagner's just hilarious. And then you add in Nathan to the mix, it was comedy gold. All those every sequence they had and the things they were saying to him, it just was such it was literally funny. Like I was like, who wrote the script? I guess you have to tell me in the chat who wrote the script. Hilarious. I mean, great, fun stuff. They questioned Jed, so we get to know him a little bit. He's like a poker player, but he's kind of innocent, I guess. I thought he might be more shady, but he's actually kind of innocent. He got this coin in a poker game in a back room in Union City at this place. So, but he just keeps getting kicked out of places because he's reading cards. But he's not doing it to be a card shark. Just like I guess he's really smart or something. So he knows what's going on. Or counting cards, excuse me. So he knows what's going on. So anyway, this whole thing was like, so they didn't go a direction I thought they were going with him. So he's kind of innocent. But he gets him close to finding out this guy, Toddy Davis? Yeah, Toddy Davis. And I love that Rosemary clearly thinks I'm the one going undercover, probably. And Bill's like, well, no, me, because I play poker. And just all the asides, like now I know when he was here 10, now I don't feel so bad I kept losing to you. Like it's all these little asides of when they do it, Nathan goes, I'll go undercover. They're like, you? Hilarious. And they're like, yeah, he's a face that nobody would even notice. It was like that. Just all the things they were saying to him were just he's like, hello. It wasn't contrived, it was really funny comedy. And I love when they can do comedy. I mean, this show, it's fun. And so then he goes, they get him all dressed up, and it all works. And he meets Toddy Davis, of course, and gets his card at the end. So there is something there. So we're getting further along. But to me, the best writers, there's comedy gold, there's chemistry gold, meaning in terms of as dueling kind of PIs. It is Rose put more Rosemary and Bill together to solve mysteries. I almost want a spin-off series of those two. I'd watch it. I'd totally watch it. Oh my god, or a spin-off movie or something. It was so unexpected when it happened last year. And we're like, wait a minute, it works. It totally works. The next thing was that I loved, and I mentioned her last time. I mentioned her many times. Kayla Wallace is back as Fiona. And so good. She looks great. Hi, Kayla. We love you. She looks great. It's so good to see her. She comes right back in, but there's something going on, obviously, which is just great beginning. Um, First, they tie her to this girl, Ava. I forgot the last name already. Sorry, kids. Ava, who is from Baltimore, who's also an heiress, and she's stumbling down the road, and all her trunks were stolen, and so I'm gonna say Kayla. So Fiona helps her in, and we'll get to that storyline in a second. But Fiona, it's so nice to see everybody. Again, we have this funny stuff going on, but her being there is heartwarming. Her reuniting with everybody and hugging everybody, and especially when she saw the girls, May, Sue, and Faith. It was like, yes, the three of them. That's right. And that's what we learn. It's tough being out there. It's hard out there for a girl. There you go. Might well take that for the 20s. Some of you guys will get that reference, kind of. Play on the reference. It's hilarious, but it's heartwarming. She's out there fighting the good fight. And I like that. I like how she mentions it's a little hard if you're not some rich married person out there, who can be financed to go out there and continue the fight. So she's at a crossroads apparently, but she doesn't know she's at a crossroads. She thinks she's got it all figured out. Sell the salon, get her money out of it. They go back to San Francisco, marry this guy she keeps saying no to, and then she'll be fine. She should do more good. But the way she was talking, it's like she was trying to convince herself. And it sounds so un-Fiona-like, right? Fiona's never been like that at all. So Macy was like, okay, well, if you're happy, great. Faith kept her mouth shut. She was kind of like, don't think that's good. So we'll see what happens with her storyline coming up. I'm glad it's more than just a one-time deal. Also, she does have one funny part where she reunites with some folks at the Queen of Hearts, and she sees Lucas and Lee, and there's all this tension. My favorite lines of the episode was, "Does anybody meddle anymore?" So like hello, like they went off because like for weeks. Does anybody meddle anymore? That made me laugh, and that got Hickam and Joseph together. Canfield going to go, okay, we're going to do something. And which they did. I mean, again, heartwarming scene. Lucas wants to do a press release, gives it to Liz. She reads it. She says, I kind of see where you're coming from, but you need to go just tell Lee. Just tell him. So he has the when he's at the saloon and everything, he has the press release. So Lee sees it, gets upset, the tension's there. Well, later we see that Joseph and Hickam have devised a plan, got to right out to a stream somewhere, and they leave them there with the horses. Take the horses, they leave them there. Well, they make up along the way. They come back and go, I'm glad that's finally over. It went on way too long for me. I don't mind conflict, but I want to be friends. Not all that conflict. It was fun seeing Shady Lee for a while, but now they're understanding, they're agreeing to disagree, which, wow, how ironic life is these days. I always say this every season. When Calls a Heart does do stuff that can be related to today. Wink, wink. Back to this new Ava chick. So she read Elizabeth's book and she claims, because we don't really know her right away, that she's an heiress from Baltimore. She read the book Elizabeth realizes her steamer truck was just like when I was coming, but they stole all my steamer trucks. Just like I was coming, I want to be a teacher too. And she's like, I read your book and I want to be a teacher and all this stuff. And it keeps the whole episode. It's just so interesting. Somebody who reminds me of me. I think there's something, obviously, this is a drama. So there's something up with her, clearly. We don't know yet, but it's a great introduction because we got intrigue, like who is she, what's going on. But also, if it is true, some of those parts of that are true, what a nice callback. See, when calls the heart, callback. I don't follow them today. Nice callback to her beginnings 12 seasons ago, 12 years ago, which came to, and someone, I figured, yeah, her book was a hit, right? So I almost forgot she had a book out there. But she's a hit, so I guess people would read it and get inspired. And so Elizabeth really takes it to heart, this project on with her. But I don't know. I'm just like, there's something, I'm kind of got a side eye, like, what's going on over there? I don't know what's going for sure. But one of the things towards the end of the episode that Elizabeth and Rosemary talk about, she's like, what would you say to your younger self? It must be weird having somebody reflected back to you, reminds you of you from a long time ago. And Rosemary made me laugh. She's like, no, I wouldn't listen to nobody, my younger self, not even myself. I was like, and folks, that's a good question to all of you out there. Just a little side notes. Because I had somebody ask me this question once. It was like, James, what would you say to your 14-year-old self? And it's one of those things. That's for me, that's 40 something years ago, 14. But just any age, wherever you are right now, just subtract 20 years or 30 years if you are that old. And we have younger Hardys too. But even for you, 5-10 years or younger Hardy, like, what would you tell yourself? And that's a really interesting thing. I might do an episode on that. Not on this show, but on one of my other shows. I might do an episode on that. Like, what would I say to myself? I don't know. One of the main things that comes up for me is that you will survive. You will go through a lot of stuff and you will survive, James. I guess that's it. And you'll have some fun along the way. But I don't know. I'm still pondering that answer. I don't know what I would say to myself yet. I don't know. But that was kind of fun. And that all kind of ties into the Allie storyline. She's growing up, her liking Wyatt. They went a direction I didn't expect. So Wyatt, kind of a footloose, fancy free kind of guy, hitting on Ava. And Elizabeth sees this. I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. And she was like, damn good. She was not having it. I thought, she saw right through you. I was like, okay. She's like, he's a kid. Also, she was not having it. He tried, but it didn't work. But he tells Allie, which is so sad, of course, when she asked him out for a picnic, and he was like, you are not my speed. But what we got out of that was, because Oliver was in the episode and they were looking over mapping. So like, we want Oliver and Allie, right? That's what we want, right, everybody? Oliver and I'll say that 5 times fast. Oliver and Allie. Oliver and Allie. I get my tongue to that. So that's what we want. So that's what we want and everything. So I thought, oh, that's kind of sad. But I love her talk with Elizabeth at the end, because it's throughout the episode, it was kind of like, for little Jack, you call me Mrs. Thornton at school only, but I'm Mama at home and everywhere else. And Allie and her talking after an awkward thing earlier, and she just realized this. She goes, if I was little Jack, I'd call you Mom all the time. So they have wisely, and they have shown us that Allie and Elizabeth have been growing and have been establishing a relationship. This doesn't feel forced. It feels natural. And she's like, she can call me Elizabeth. Sometimes she might say Mom Elizabeth or Mama Elizabeth. She's like, you can call me Elizabeth. And Allie likes that. But that was very sweet. And I mean, again, the girl who plays Allie is so good. She's really, really, really good. Yeah, so I think that's everything. Yeah, that's everything. It was a great episode. Another grade A episode of several storylines and several moods. And this show is so good. I mean, 12 seasons in, I'm still excited to watch. So next Saturday, James Lott Jr. is celebrating 10 years as a host. I'm going back to my original show that I first did called Dishin Days. And they're still going, but I'm not on the show anymore, obviously. But I'm going back for this. So they have a big celebration, a big special episode next Saturday. We're meeting in person in LA, which is kind of crazy. And so my anniversary is right after that. It's like a couple days after that weekend. I had guest hosted on their second episode. And went to AfterBuzz TV. Maybe you guys remember AfterBuzz TV. And that's where I met Marissa Serafini, who's an engineer and producer at the time. And she produced one of my shows. And that's how we met and became friends. And that was 10 years ago. And so I'll be doing a special on my channel, special 10-year anniversary for myself also. But next Saturday I'll be doing that. So, but I think I maybe on Sunday's the Super Bowl, so I hope to get an episode out within a few days after I get a chance to watch it on. I'm gonna try to watch this Sunday morning before Super Bowl, and then maybe I'll do an episode then or Monday or something like that. But there'll be an episode coming out. But remind me, Saturday. It's not Sunday, it's Saturday. I gotta check my DVR, make sure it totally picks it up next Saturday at 7 Pacific. But I would not be here for all of you, and especially you early Hardies. I seriously would not be here because I'm amazed that in my late 40s, I found a new career, and it has been the most interesting, I'll say that, good and bad, most interesting experience in my life. And I'm happy to still be here doing it for my own channel, JLJ Media. So thank you so much. I love you, Hardies. Thank you I want to say hi to the Hardies admins on the main page on Facebook. You guys are wonderful. Thanks for letting me post on there. I appreciate it. And all the comments. Again, continue to comment, like, whatever, and I will comment back. If you haven't liked my channel, like it. JLJ on YouTube. If you're listening to me, because this show's a huge audio hit, thank you, audio listeners. I appreciate each and every one of you. Everybody have a safe week. Talk to you next time.